Famous claim from the New York Times is that it provides all the news that's fit to print. Tell that to almost half of the New Yorkers born outside of the U.S. who have to look to their ethnic newspapers for news important to them. We were surprised to find out that there are more than 300 ethnic publications in New York City. And this city's tremendous ethnic population depends on news in their language and about their people. But on the vast information highway, are ethnic newspapers being forced to the side of the road? When it comes to expression, life is not always a parade for our ethnic communities. Many people in this city of immigrants feel that they can't always find the information they need in mainstream media. Instead, they rely on foreign language newspapers and magazines to find out about what really affects their lives. According to New California Media, ethnic newspapers and magazines reach over 50 million people in the U.S. Gary Pierre, founder of the Haitian Times, explains the role of ethnic publications.
The New York Times, the Daily News, they cannot cover India, Little India. They cannot cover Haiti. They cannot cover Jamaica. They cannot cover Italy. I mean, they can't do this. So that's why you need those ethnic media. And what they do is bring it all together, what we all have in common as New Yorkers. Because although we're Haitians, we're Jamaican, we're African Americans, we're this, and that. But, you know, we live in the city, in the region, and these commonalities. That's what the major mainstream newspapers or television stations, you know, that's what they provide, you know, what brings us together, and then we can go from there. And then the ethnic media tell the specific community about themselves. It's a vital role that the ethnic media plays in their own community, and they cannot duplicate what the mainstream press does. They can't.
Mayor Michael Bloomberg understands the necessity and importance of ethnic media.
This is New York, and we have a particular obligation to the people that come here. It is also true that the mainstream press, mainstream generally meaning the English language press, does not do a very good job at covering each ethnic community. There are just so many of them. The economics don't let the mainstream press do that. So that's, more than anything, I think, the reason for the different ethnic publications. And a lot of the ethnic publications are in English, but their focus is on the community that they represent.
Often, issues covered by ethnic media can help solve some of the problems in their communities. Edward Suñol, reporter from El Diario, tells us what the Hispanic community looks for when reading the paper.
They want to know what is happening here in the community and what is happening in their countries and what could happen for them in the future, immigration laws. So we provide them with that information, what they can do, where do they have to go, ask who, what to do. And so we deal with all the politicians, and I guess that's the only thing that we can, I mean, that's something that only we can do. I mean, the New York Times will never be able to do that.
Ethnic media is no small phenomenon. Here at a newsstand in Manhattan, New Yorkers have access to newspapers like Hispanic El Diario, African American Amsterdam News, and the Chinese World Journal. But do the reporters from these newspapers have access to the information they need?
Well, you know, when you are a journalist and you work in this huge market as New York, you always have trouble when you are, you know, a minority media, because, you know, politicians and business leaders, they don't put too much attention in the, you know, minority media as they put in the big media as the New York Times, New York Post, Washington Post, AP, or whatever it is.
A recent survey sponsored by the Independent Press Association shows that journalists from minority media receive less access than their mainstream counterparts. Co-founder of the association, Dr. Abby Scher, explains.
Over the years, heard a lot of complaints from our membership about the discrimination they felt from government officials when they tried to get information from them. And last summer, when our members tried to get credentials to cover the Republican convention here in their home city of New York, the Republicans refused to give them credentials. So we developed a survey. We talked to our members and we found out which agencies of government were most important to them at the local, state, and federal level. We found some agencies were great, had great respect for the ethnic press, like the Department of Health of the City Department of Health, the City Council. But we found other public officials like Governor Pataki and Mayor Bloomberg ranking very low in terms of responsiveness of their press offices to inquiries from the ethnic press. I think this was really important. I think it was really shocking.
We reached out to the mayor's office, and a spokesperson responded that the mayor wants to have open conversations with members of the ethnic press and to address the challenges.
The police department is one of the worst. Chinese and Polish journalists especially talked about the problems at police lines where one police officer wouldn't let the photographer go in and take a photo, but they said that it wasn't allowed. But next day, the New York Post had a photo on their cover.
Ramon Polanco, reporter for Reformer News, has experienced a similar kind of discrimination.
One woman was shot over there. I was trying to get information, but the police, they said move. And then as soon as Channel 41 came with a big camera, they let her, got in.
And that's unconstitutional. The government cannot discriminate. The police cannot discriminate between ethnic or mainstream press. They can't discriminate between publications based on size.
As the struggle for equality continues, without ethnic media, the information superhighway would just be a one-way street.
Sometimes there are certain things people think are taboo, you shouldn't talk about. And we said, no, we're going to talk about it, we're going to write about it, and we're going to do that in a very professional manner, balanced, fair, and accurate as possible, as humanly possible. But when we do that, people are upset. And it's part of journalism. If you're doing your job, you're going to get people upset. And we don't mind it, but at the end of the day, we want to be fair and balanced. Well, not like Fox, but